welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering. Today I'm gonna teach you how to master your songs using Isotope. Even if you don't know how to master, this is gonna help you to master your songs professionally. I've turned off Isotope Ozone 7, so let's go ahead and take a listen to the unmastered version.
You are the greatest, the finest. There's nobody like you. There's nobody like you.
So there is a lot that we need to work on right there. We need a little bit of some highs, we need dynamics, and we need the volume to be raised up, and all these things are found in Isotope Ozone 7. So the first thing that you have to do, if let's say you do not know how to master, look for presets. Go into click an arrow to load a preset section, and then come to all purpose mastering. Just open it up and then come to adaptive dynamics. This is gonna give you a good starting point. Everything's gonna be loaded for you. So let me go ahead and click on this, see what is gonna happen right here, just like this. There is dynamics, and then there is imager. Of course, dynamics are used to control the dynamics of your song. Let's say the highs, you want more of the highs to be controlled and limit a little bit of those transients which are trying to come out a little bit. In dynamics, that's why you find a limiter, that's why you find a compressor, and then you have imager that is loaded up for you. An imager, the work of an imager is to expand or widen up your sound. Then you have maximizer, which is loaded up for you. Maximizer is used for your volume, is like gain control. You can also use maximizer to limit your sound, but this time this final plugin is going to be used for raising up the volume so that the song can have volume and also be able to compete with other professional mastered songs. This is before, once again.
You are the greatest.
And now I'm going to turn it on. This is already loaded up for you. You can export your song just the way it is. So here we go.
You are the greatest, the finest. There's nobody like you. There's nobody like you.
It really sounds really great. Now, before.
You are the greatest.
And now, after.
You are the greatest.
So even if you don't know how to master, this is gonna help you to just load it up right there and learn from this and see how professional mastering engineers do their masters. So let's go ahead and start with the dynamics. Let's say we want to change something, we want to set up our limiter. So this is the limiter right there. Then we also have compression. Check out the videos that I did on compression. So this is our limiter. We set up the signal at which limiting begins. So let's say I wanna set it up to 1.3, negative 1.3 dB. That's where limiting is going to be. And limiting is gonna help you to stop clipping. So let's go ahead and play this.
You are the greatest.
So this is where our limiting has begun. Do not set your limiting all the way to negative 33 point. You are going to destroy your sound. Set it up at a lower limiting level, just like that. 1.5 is okay, so I'm gonna set it 1.4, 1.5.
You are the greatest.
And then here is your compressor. You want to compress some of those transients which are trying to come out a little bit so that they can be leveled up professionally. So how do you level up your final master professionally? You use a compressor. Do a little bit of compression. Remember, you've done your compression in during mixing, during instrumental mixing. This time you are just doing subtle changes. So let us go ahead and just do a little bit of subtle changes to compression so that we can glue it up. So the reason why we are using compressor, the reason why Isotope has loaded up a compressor, we use a compressor to glue up the mix, the voices, and just the overall mix to be glued up and to sound all together.
You are the greatest, the finest.
So whenever you take your compressor to 130 dB, your volume is really gonna go down and everything is just gonna sound unstable. So if you want to like stabilize, just to glue it up, take it all the way to maybe negative 6.1.
You are the greatest.
Remember where these lines, these are the signal starts from or ends from, that's where compression begins, or where the loudest part ends from, that's where compression is going to begin. So you want the louder parts to be compressed a little bit so that the lower parts can also be on the same range or level with the rest of the song.
You are the greatest.
So I think with me, I'm going to set it up on negative 7.5.
You are the greatest.
So right there, we have glued up our song or our track or our mix or our master. Make sure you set your ratio on a lower ratio, like 1:5 to 1, 1:1, or 1:2. So in my case, I'm just gonna leave it on a lower ratio, which is 1:1. And then this thing right here, this is your compression.
You are the greatest.
And now when you come this side, this is your parallel, where you wet it up, and the dry part is like without any limiter or compression. So let's go ahead and put it to 100%.
You are the greatest.
So watch what is going to happen when I take it back.
You are the greatest.
No more dynamics, but let me take it to 100%.
You are the greatest. The finest.
And of course, this is your overall gain control, where you want to increase everything together. I do not advise that you set this all the way, you increase your gain, unless otherwise. For me, I love to leave it at 0.0 dB. Next, once you have set up your dynamics, you just come to your imager. How big do you want your sound to be? So make sure you come here and turn it on. It has to be on. Do not set it on off, or else it's not gonna work. Set it on, put it on. So this is gonna stereoize your sound or make it big. Watch what is gonna happen right here.
You are the greatest. The finest. There's nobody like.
So all this shows you that there is that widening of the sound.
You are the greatest. The finest.
That's what I do with the imager. And if you want to like take it to another level, you can of course come to the bands and increase the bands. You can increase band number 1, 2, 3, and 4.
You are the greatest. The finest. There's nobody like you.
So right there, and then you have maximizer, where you like want to increase the volume a little bit, like this.
You are the greatest.
You take it down, you increase the volume. You take it up, you like reduce it a little bit, and also set the ceiling.
You are the greatest. The finest. There's nobody like you. There's nobody like you. You are God alone.
So right there, 5.5 dB of volume of gain is okay. You can set up an EQ if you want to. You can just come to click to insert module. Just click there, get an EQ, and then if you feel like there are certain parts of the song where you need to like reduce the lows or increase the lows of the song, you can of course like use your EQ. Just make sure that you take maximizer to the far end and then click on the EQ, and then work on those parts where you feel like, if you feel like your song has too much highs or lows, of course you can use an EQ to just cut it a little bit like that.
You are the greatest.
So if you feel like this part is a little bit high,
you are the greatest.
You can like reduce it a little bit.
You are the greatest. The finest.
So the work of the EQ during mastering is for you to like identify parts where maybe the entire mix is too has a lot of lows. Then you can cut those lows a little bit. If you feel like your mix lacks some lows to it, you just increase. But if you feel like your mix has a lot of highs, and during mastering you wanna like remove the highs, just come to 7 and reduce them like that.
You are the greatest.
Especially when you're looking for a warmer master, you can of course just take down the highs a little bit, and always don't forget to cut off just a little bit of some low end, which is around this section somewhere there, so that the overall master or mix can sound cleaner.
You are the greatest, the finest. There's nobody like you.
This is before.
You are the greatest, the finest. There's nobody like you. There's nobody like you.
And this is after mastering with isotope Ozone 7.
You are the greatest, the finest. There's nobody like you. There's nobody like you.
I think this is great, and don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.